Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Casa de Phil, where I will be fighting a kill team battle between my Dark Angels and Harris's Astra Militarum. So the story that we've got going on here is that this platoon of soldiers were carrying some information that the Inquisition wanted them to carry back to the home base that they had found on this planet that was under siege, and they were battling against some Chaos Space Marines. When suddenly they came under fire where they shouldn't have come under fire, the enemy below was not made themselves aware, and they couldn't find out who it was, and they ended up crashing their Valkyrie here in the middle of this Imperial area, this Imperial sector. They got out and quickly established their position here in the building, looking for the enemy to arrive. And when they saw that the Astartes had come to rescue them, their hearts beat faster with the expectation that the Emperor had looked kindly upon them. But when those same Astartes started firing upon them, they realized that that was not the case. Turns out that the information that they had been carrying was actually related to the Fallen, and the Dark Angels could not risk allowing them to get that information back to the home base. So they ended up shooting them down to get that information, because in the end, what's a few guardsmen when it comes to saving an entire chapter of Space Marines? So that is the story. Loyal chapter. Definitely loyal. So that is the story that we've got going on here. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the two kill teams that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Dark Angels, my kill team will consist of, from left to right there, Jenkins, my Scout Sergeant leader. I then have a Reaver Sergeant, who is my combat specialist. I then have two tactical gunners with heavy bolters. One is my heavy specialist, and the other is my demolitions specialist. I then have a regular scout with a bolter, and two intercessors with bolt rifles. And for the guard, his squad from left to right there is a sergeant with a power sword and bolt pistol, who is his leader. We then have a guardsman with a voxcaster, who is his comm specialist. We then have a guardsman gunner with a plasma gun, who will be his demolitions expert. We then have a special weapons gunner with a plasma gun, who is his sniper specialist. We then have two more special weapons gunners with plasma guns and 10 regular guardsmen with las guns. All right, so those are the two kill teams going over deployment now. I've got one of my intercessors back over here. I've got my heavy specialist with the heavy bolter down over here. I've got my combat specialist Reaver Sergeant right over here. I've got my leader, Jenkins, back over here. I've got my other scout right next to him there. I then have my demolitions expert, heavy bolter guy, up top here. And I've got my other intercessor back up on top of the container over here. Going over deployment for the Astra Militarum, we've got his demolitions expert down over here. We've got the comm specialist. We've got the leader. We've got a whole bunch of regular dude bros. We've got the the two gunners with the plasma right here next to the comm specialist for obvious reasons. And then we have his sniper specialist down over there. So that's the deployment that we've got going on. We are now going to roll for initiative to see who will go first. Got a 6, and I get a 5. So we will come back to you after movement for the Astra Militarum here on turn 1. All right, movement phase for the Astra Militarum here on turn 1. His specialist down here, demolition specialist, readied himself. His comm specialist readied himself. Everybody over here moved. They just basically moved up. And then he moved up over there into cover. So that is going to be it for the movement phase for the Astra Militarum. We'll come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 1. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels here. My combat specialist advanced over here. My heavy specialist readied himself, as did the intercessor here. My scout advanced over this way. My intercessor readied himself, and then my demolitions expert readied himself. So that is going to be it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, so starting us off, we're going to start with his demolitions expert here, who is going to fire his plasma gun into my heavy specialist over here. He's more than half range, so he's going to be -1 to hit. He's also obscured, so a -2 to hit, but his comm specialist is going to give him +1, so he's going to be hitting on a 5.
I'm not overcharging.
Not supercharging.
Nope.
Oh, nope, no hit. Now my demolitions expert is going to fire into these 3 guys, 1, 2, 3, because he can see them and they are within an inch. He's got 3 shots with his heavy bolter. So we're going to go with the first, second, and then the third. So they're at half range because of the heavy bolter, but they are obscured, obviously. And so I'm going to be at a -1 to hit, so it's going to be a 4 to hit. So the first one is not a hit. The second one is not a hit. And the third one is a hit. So wounding on a 3. Oh, demolitions. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. He's the demolitions expert, so he's +1 to wound against obscured models. So it's going to be a 2 to wound. That is a wound. AP -1. 6 up save. No, goes through. So the injury roll, and he's out of action. All right, so my opponent is now going to give Sir, Yes Sir to this guy over here.
Take aim or Sir, Yes Sir strategy.
Oh, sorry. Take aim is the order. Sir, Yes Sir is the stratagem that he's going to use. It's a 2 CP stratagem for Astra Militarum that allows every model within 3 inches of him to also benefit from that order. So now, literally everyone up here is going to have, including the Vox guy, are going to have take aim, so that's going to be re-rolling 1s to hit, right?
Yes.
So so this is now going to be him activating, because it doesn't say anything about orders having to shoot right afterwards. So he's going to activate now, and he is going to shoot into my demo guy over here. So he's more than half range, needing a 6 to hit. No hit. Rerolling the 1.
Yes.
Hey, into a hit. It worked. It totally worked.
Need a 5.
Totally worth it. 5 to wound. No wound. All right, so now my heavy specialist over here is going to shoot into his demolitions expert over here. I'm going to put all 3 shots into him. He's just over half range, and he is obscured, so it's going to be hitting on 5s. Getting 1 hit, wounding on a 3. No wound. I'm going to spend a command point to reroll that.
3.
Into a 3, so that is a wound. -1 to his armor. No. So now we have his injury roll. Just takes a flesh wound. All right, so now my intercessor over here who's ready. My opponent doesn't have anyone left that's ready, so my guys are going to go through with their readies. My intercessor over here who's ready is in half range of his sniper specialist, and he so it's rapid fire and also half range, so he's going to have 2 shots here, hitting on 4s because he's obscured. Getting 1 hit. Wounded on a 3. That is a wound. AP -1.
What's up?
Whoop.
Let's try that again.
You can try that with the lucky die that I touched. Oh, should have chosen a different one. I touched it. Everyone knows that that's not lucky. And his injury roll is a 4. He's out of action. So we're playing the best of the best mission. I don't know if I mentioned that. I should have, but I didn't. So what it is you get 2 points for every enemy specialist that your specialist takes out, and you get 1 point for every other model that your specialist takes out. So right over here, my non-specialist took out his specialist. I don't get any points for that. So maybe not the best tactical decision, but I think I'd rather not have have Plasma shooting at me. So I think it was a trade-off that I kind of had to make there. So that's just figured like I'd point that out. And now my intercessor over here is going to fire into the guy in the corner over here. Is the only one you can see. Not in half range and obscured, so it's going to be hitting on a 5. That's a hit with a fill face. And that is a wound. That is not a save, so his injury roll is a 2, takes a flesh wound. All right, so now it's basically his turn to go shooting because the rest of his guys can shoot. I'm done shooting at this point. So he's going to have 4 guys in here who are going to fire into my demo guy over here. We're just going to roll them together. So they are more than half range and obscured, so looking for 6s. Getting 1 hit.
No rerolls.
No rerolls. The one guy got the hit, get the hit there. That is a wound. Looking for a 3-up save. No. Oh, no. Oh, flesh wound. All right, and then these 3 guys are now going to fire into my combat specialist over here. Getting rerolling those 1s because of the order.
Game.
No, close. So 1 hit.
Need those 5s on the wound.
That is a wound.
Okay.
Oh, but that's a save. Woo! And then we got 2 more las guns they're going to fire into my heavy bolter guy. My demo's expert rerolling that 1 because of the order. No hit. And then the 2 plasma guys are going to fire into my demo's expert. So we're going to... Actually, I think we should probably do these 1 at a time because he's got the injury roll.
That's fair.
So here we go. The first one Is not a hit because they're hitting on 6s more than half range. And obscured. Also not a hit. All right, so at the end of the turn here, we do have one nerve test to take. He's not up here. He's got a flesh wound, but he's with so many guys within 2 inches that he can't fail his leadership. They just all hug him and say, "It's okay, buddy. It's okay." He though is all on his lonesome down here, so he has to take a leadership test. He's 2 guys are out of action right now.
5 or 6.
So a 5 or 6. No, he is good to go. So that is the end of turn 1. So we will now roll off to see who will have the initiative going into turn 2. I rolled a 5. My opponent rolled a 7, so we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Astra Militarum on turn 2. All right, easy enough. Everyone readied. So we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels now on turn 2. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels. My Reaver Sergeant up here, he advanced up over there. These 2 guys readied themselves, so the Intercessor and my Demolitions Expert, or my Heavy Expert. My Demolitions Expert readied himself, my Intercessor readied himself, and this Scout over here advanced around the corner. So that's going to be it for the movement phase. We will come back to you now with the shooting phase. All right, so now beginning here, he is going to order the same guy over there take aim, and he's going to spend his 2 command points again on Sir, Yes Sir, leaving him with no command points again for this turn. But everyone over here is now going to be re-rolling 1s to wound. To hit. Sorry, re-rolling 1s to hit. My bad. There is a 2-1, but that's not the one. And then his Plasma Specialist here is going to get the +1 from the Comm Specialist.
Not Specialist, but...
Oh, yeah, not Specialist. Sorry, the Plasma Gunner is going to get the Comm Specialist +1, and he is now going to shoot into my Heavy Dude Bro, or my Demolitions Dude Bro over here. So he's going to be hitting on a 5 because of that +1. That's a hit.
That was a 6 I needed.
That is a wound. Oh, boy. Looking for a 6-up save. Show me that filth first. Oh, no. Oh, the opposite. So, injury roll here. +1 because he's got that, he's got the flesh wound.
+1, -1 because he's in cover.
Oh, yeah, +1, -1, so. +1, -1 is a 4. He is out of action. All right, so now my Heavy Specialist is going to go. He's going to shoot into his Plasma Specialist over here. So 3 shots, hitting on 5s because he's more than half range because I didn't move him again. And he's obscured, so looking for 5s to hit. Getting 1 hit, wounding on a 3. That is a wound with a filth first. Looking for a 6. No, goes through. +1 to this injury roll. -1 because of cover. And he's out with a filth first. All right, so now his other plasma guy over here is going to now shoot into this Intercessor. He's going to supercharge. So now he is going to be rolling. He's got looking for a 6 to hit. Rerolling 1s. No hit. But not a blow up.
Nope.
This Intercessor here is going to fire into the guy in the corner over here with the flesh wound. He's going to be hitting him on a 5. Nope, no hit. And now his Comm Specialist is going to fire into my Combat Specialist over here. He is in half range, so he's going to get 2 shots with the las gun. These are going to be hitting on 5s because it's only -1 for obscured. Ooh, both hits, really good. And 5s again. Getting 1 wound. 1 3-up save. No, I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that. No. All right, so, but he just takes the 1 wound, so he's got the 1.
He's fine. 782.
And now this Intercessor is going to fire into the Guardsman up in the window over there, hitting on a 5. No hit. All right, so now 3 of these guys are going to fire into the Intercessor because I'm done with ready guys, and all of his guys are readied. I don't even think I've got no one else to shoot here, so here we go. 3 shots, no hits. Reroll that 1 though because of the order. No, still no hits. All right, now 3 guys over here have you onto my Combat Specialist. They're going to fire into him over there. They should be within half range. Yeah, they're in half range there. So it's going to be 6 shots coming in here. Yep. These are going to be hitting on 5s. Rerolling 1s. Ooh, looking good.
I need to wound him, but not kill him.
No wounds. All right, now his flesh wounded guy is going to shoot into my Combat Specialist. He's going to be hitting on a 6 because he's within half range, but obscured, but also -1 because of the flesh wound. Getting 1 hit. Getting 1 wound. Making the save, though. Woo! And then the last 2 guys are going to shoot into my heavy guy over here on 6s. Getting no hits. All right, so that's the end of turn 2. Nobody has to take a nerve test here because he's got too many guys giving him pats on the head. that he is not going to fail his nerve test. So now,
The nicest commissar ever.
yeah, he's a super nice commissar. He likes to lead with hugs. He doesn't like to lead with bolt pistols to the face.
Rogers.
Yeah, it's Commissar Mr. Rogers to you, sir. So here we go, looking for advantage next turn. I've got an 8. My opponent got a 9, so we'll come back to you again after movement phase for the Astra Militarum. In true guard fashion, he is going to ready up and get ready to shoot his weapons into my face. So we will come back to you with the movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 3. All right, movement for the Dark Angels. My intercessor over here readied. My heavy specialist moved over there. My intercessor up here readied. My scout around there moved. And then my combat specialist back over here advanced over to here. So that's it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, he's going to order the same guy to bring it down, and then, sir, yes, sir, use 2 command points there, giving them all of these guys up here, re-rolling 1s to wound. And we're going to start off with his comm specialist shooting into my combat specialist over there. So hitting on a 5. That's not re-rolling 1s to hit, so that's going to be a hit. That is a wound. That is a failed armor save. I'm going to re-roll that. Yeah, with the fail phase. Woo! All right, so now my intercessor here is going to fire into that same dude row. He keeps trying to shoot in the face and failing miserably at doing so. And he still is not going to do it. All right, so now one of his plasma guys is going to have the comm specialist give him a +1, and he's going to shoot into my intercessor over here. So he's going to have the +1, which means he's hitting on a 5. That's a hit. Wounding on a 2 because he's supercharged. That is a wound. Looking for a 6-up save. No, failing that. So that's going to be 2 damage. So he is down to 0. So let's roll for the 2 damage because there's a 2 damage weapon. So 2 injury rolls. 3, he's taking a flesh wound.
20.
And my intercessor guy is going to fire into the front guy over here. That is not a hit. Now 3 of his regular guardsmen are going to fire into my intercessor over here.
6s.
6 to hit.
Nothing.
Not getting anything. 3 guys are now going to shoot into my other intercessor over here. Nothing there. And now the 2 other las guns are going to fire into my heavy specialist over here. Getting no hits. And the plasma gun is going to shoot. Not going to overcharge. Which is still not a hit. So now my heavy specialist is going to fire. He's going to put 2 shots into this guy over here, 1 shot into this guy over here. So we're going to do the 2 shots into him. 1 second on the range. Definitely within half range, but he is obscured, so it's going to be 2 shots hitting on 4s. Because he's got the heavy specialist, he doesn't suffer the penalty for moving with a heavy weapon. Not getting any hits. And then the 1 shot into the flesh wounded guy over there. That is a hit. That is a wound. AP -1. That is not a save. +1 to this roll, -1. That's out of action. All right, so that's the end of turn 3 here. So now we are going on to turn 4 because I've got 1 guy with a flesh wound, but I've only lost 1 guy out of action, so I can't fail my leadership roll. So now we're going to roll to see who has advantage.
7.
7 versus my 6, so we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Astra Militarum here on turn 4. All right, movement phase for the Astra Militarum. Everyone kind of shuffled around except for his sergeant and his comm specialist, who both readied themselves. But everyone else kind of put themselves into different positions, kind of shifting around because they hear the Ceramite footsteps down below. So that is going to be it for the movement phase. For the Astra Militarum, we'll come back to you with movement for the Dark Angels. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 4. My intercessor here moved over here. Jenkins is tactically hiding. My heavy specialist moved up over here. Yeah, tactically. My intercessor over here readied himself. My scout over here advanced up to the corner there. And now my combat specialist here is going to charge. He is going to declare like all these dude bros here. But before, only 2 of them can see him. But before I do so, I'm actually going to throw I'm going to spend 2 command points on Shock and Awe, which is an Adeptus Astartes tactic. When I choose a Reaver to charge, I get to make an attack with my shock grenades into one of the targets. So I'm going to throw it into his plasma guy because I don't feel like just getting gibbed in the face. So I'm going to throw it into him. So it's going to be it's grenade D3. So it's going to be 1 shot here, looking for a 3 to hit. No hit. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that. You know what?
I mean, you do.
All right, so now he's going to overwatch me here. So we're going to go with the plasma guy first. So he's going to have 2 shots here on 6s.
Not going to overcharge.
Not going to overcharge. Not getting a hit.
thing.
Good thing he didn't. He would have been dead.
And
then the las gun from the comm specialist. Does get a hit.
Need a 5.
But does not get a wound. He's not going to spend a command point on that. So his charge distance here is 6 inches. He will get in. All right, so at the beginning of the shooting phase, he is going to give an order of fixed bayonets onto this guy over here, and he is now going to spend his 2 command points on Sir, Yes, Sir. So everyone around here now has fixed bayonets. So we're going to start with the guy over here.
My leader.
We're going to start with the leader over here. So he's going to have.
You're within an inch.
He's within an inch, so he's going to have his attack in here.
Hitting on 2s.
Hitting on 2s, the sergeant?
4s.
No, hitting on 4s. He's a sergeant. He looks like a
I'm
commissar.
thinking he's a Lord Commissar.
He looks like a Lord Commissar, but he's just a fancy-looking sergeant. So here we go.
All right, 4s and 5s.
Here we go. Looking for 4s. Getting 1 hit. Looking for a 5 to wound. No wound. All right, so now the last gun guy, the plasma gun guy, will go and get, or no, just both of them are going to get their attacks in here.
Nope, I gotta do it separately.
It does have to do it separate because of wounds. So we're going to go with the plasma gun first. Doesn't make a difference. That's not a hit.
Nope.
And then on to the comm specialist. Not a hit. Okay. So now my intercessor, who is ready here, is going to fire into the guy on the right over there. Yep. He's going to fire both shots. He's in rapid fire range, which is half range. So he's going to have 2 shots. Hitting on 4s because of being obscured. Whoop. Nope. Not getting anything. All right, so now his plasma gunner up here is going to have the comm specialist give him +1 to hit. He's now going to shoot into my heavy weapon, into my heavy specialist over here. So he is going to overcharge it. So he's going to have 1 shot here, hitting on a no, not a 1. Bye-bye. And now my heavy specialist is going to fire into these guys over here. He's going to put 1 into him, 2 into him because he can't see him. So we're going to do the 2 into the guy in the middle there. He doesn't have the minus because of heavy, because he's the heavy specialist, but he does have obscured there. So hitting on 4s. Getting 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. No wound. And then the 1 shot into the other guy. That's not a hit. Now he's going to have a las gun guy shoot into my intercessor with a flesh wound over there. That is not a, not a hit because it's more than halfway. Yep. And now my intercessor here is going to fire into the guy in the middle there. We're going to have 1 shot hitting on a 5. Nope, no hit. All right, so now the 2 guys over here are going to fire into my heavy specialist. So that's 2 shots hitting on 6s. No hits. Now the 3 guys are going to fire into my heavy specialist. No hits there. And then 2 more into him over there. He really wants him, but not hitting him.
Nope.
All right, so that's it for the shooting phase. Into the fight phase, my guy here is a Reaver Sergeant, so he has 3 attacks base. He has +1 because of being a combat specialist, and he has +1 because of having a combat knife. So I'm going to put 3 attacks into his comm specialist, 2 attacks into his plasma dude bro. So here we go. The 3 attacks into his comm specialist, hitting on 3s. That is 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. Ooh, I'm going to spend a command point to reroll one of those. All right, that's 1 wound.
5 up.
5 up save. No, goes through. Flesh, the wound here. No, flesh wound. And now the 2 attacks into the plasma dude. That is going to be 1 hit. That is a wound.
5 up.
That is a save. All right, so now his sergeant here is going to attack into me because fixed bayonets isn't instead of attacks, it's just instead of shooting.
Yeah.
So here comes the sergeant's attacks into you over here.
4s.
Hitting on 4s. No hits. And then the other 2 guys getting 1 hit. No wound. All right, so at the end of the fight phase, I'm going to spend 2 command points on Honor the Chapter, which will allow him to attack again. So I'm going to have him put 3 attacks into his sergeant, 2 attacks into the comm specialist. So here we go. Into the sergeant over there, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, getting 3 hits, wounding on 3s, getting 2 wounds, 2 5-ups. Makes 1, fails 1. His flesh wound roll, or his wound roll, is a flesh wound. And now my Reaver Sergeant is going to put his 2 attacks into the comm specialist. That is 2 hits. That is 1 wound. That is a save though. All right, so that is going to be the end of the turn here. We do have a morale test today because his sergeant is fine because he's within enough guys within 2 inches to get the benefit. But his comm specialist is within 2 inches of 3 guys, but he has 5 guys out of combat, so it's 2 plus 4 is 6. He's good to go. So that's it for the morale phase. This is the end of turn 4. So now we have to roll off to see if we go on to a turn 5. Roll hit here. No, we do not. So we'll come back to you with the end here. All right, so at the end of turn 4 here, my specialist killed 1 specialist and killed 1 regular guy, giving me 3 points, and my opponent's specialist didn't kill anybody this game. So not for lack of trying. They certainly tried, but they didn't manage to do it. So that is a Dark Angels victory. A ton of fun. This was the best of the best was actually a mission that came in the Astra Militarum, the Guard Astra Militarum kill team box, which is a lot of fun. I think it's a cool one. And it would have had it if you were if there was only one team that wasn't broken. The team that wasn't broken would have won. But yeah, so it was a ton of fun. Had a great time, and it was kind of cool to see me kind of like slowly positioning myself to try to get up here. I then threw my blender into the middle there, dumped all of these CP that I'd been hoarding up until the end there to just like pat some guys on the cheek. Gave 2 guys flesh wounds. It's like this giant superhuman over here with power armor goes flailing into there with his combat knives, like spinning around like a whirling dervish and just trying to do anything there, and he just doesn't manage to hurt anybody with their cloth jackets on. So they're lead-lined cloth jackets, but cloth jackets nonetheless. So there was a ton of fun. I really like Kill Team. I really do. I know I keep saying that after like every Kill Team battle report that I've done, but it is a lot of fun. It's just a quick game. It's a fun game, and it's way more casual, and I do enjoy that. But at the same time, there's a lot of tactical decisions you have to make, and and there's things like position your guys is way more important in Kill Team because of having to stay within half range, having to stay in cover. So like over here, I had at one point, I had my my guys back over here with the terrain the way we had it set up. They were slightly out of half range, but they were in cover. So I had to make the decision about whether I move them out of cover so that they're going to have closer range, so closer shots, but they're going to lose the benefit of being in cover. So I just took the negatives, and because of that, I missed a lot of shots because of it. So, but it was it was a lot of fun. This guy over here just went out for a run. He just sprinted. He sprinted from here all the way around here, all the way back over to here. And then he tried. He was trying to get in there. If it got on, he was going to get up here and then start trying to shoot people. But, such is life. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek. As always, my opponent's been Harrison. Until next time, have fun.